Hey guys, welcome back to Super Retro. I'm Chris. Hope you're doing well. So, a few days ago, Nintendo announced that they'd be re-releasing most of their old Mario games for the Nintendo Switch, and it got my gears rolling. So, I decided to make a top 5 list of my favorite Mario games. Let's check it out. So, before we get started, I thought I'd let you guys know that while I wanted to, I did not include games like Mario Party and Mario Kart in this list because I only wanted to include games that Mario completely starred in. So, with that being said, let's move on. So the first game on my list had to be the one that started it all. Released in 1985, Super Mario Bros. Wasn't Nintendo's first successful game, as games like Donkey Kong and Popeye came before it, but it was the game that made them a household name, and for good reason. Super Mario Bros. Was developed by Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka, and through their deliberate teamwork, they made one of the most innovative games of the time that would pave the way for Nintendo in the future. The story of Mario is that one day in the Mushroom Kingdom, King Bowser and his Koopa followers used their magic to turn the inhabitants of the kingdom into stones, bricks, and horsehair plants. The only one who can undo the spells is Princess Toadstool, but Bowser takes her captive, and Mario has to come to the rescue, hopefully. While Mario's only abilities are running and jumping, he also gets power-ups along the way, such as the Magic Mushroom, which allows him to double in size and break blocks, the Fire Flower, which allows him the same powers as the Magic Mushroom, plus he can throw fire, and Starmen, which give him temporary invincibility. This also means he can kill enemies with his touch. After a few levels, you'll get the hang of the controls of Super Mario Bros., and you'll be traveling to different worlds of different difficulties trying to rescue the princess. At the end of each world, you'll find a more difficult level known as a castle, and at the end of the castle, you'll find Bowser, and hopefully, you'll beat him with one hit. In the next room, you may find your princess, or you may not. Super Mario Bros. Has a special place in my heart because it was the first game that I played, and it had a huge cultural impact. Without the success of the Nintendo Entertainment System and Mario, who knows where the video game industry would be right now, or even if it would be. Super Mario Bros. May be the most important video game of all time, and that's why I had to include it on this list. Coming in at number 2 is Paper Mario, released in 2001, developed by Nintendo and Intelligent Systems. This game is a Mario RPG, and for an RPG lover like me, I thought this was the coolest thing ever when I was younger. Now, this wasn't the first Mario RPG. Many of us know that the first Mario RPG was on the Super Nintendo, and Nintendo partnered with Square and made Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. Now, this game was excellent. Square was known for their RPGs such as Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, things like that, and this brought Mario into a game like that. And while I love this game so much, I just tend to prefer Paper Mario, so that's why it's on my list. Paper Mario starts in Mario's house, and Luigi comes in with a letter from Princess Peach, and this happens in many Mario games. Upon reading the letter, we find out that Mario and Luigi have been invited to Princess Peach's castle for a party, and as Mario games go, we know that something's gonna happen at the party. And what happens? Something crazy. So first you get to see this wonderful art style of the game. It's like a pop-up book. That's part of what makes this game Paper Mario. But anyways, as you can see, Princess Peach's castle is being lifted out of the ground. Bowser has somehow built an airship castle contraption underneath her castle without her knowing, and although I don't understand the logic, I always thought this was so cool. So Bowser breaks into the castle with this evil witch, Kammy Koopa, and of course, Mario has to fight him and be the hero. And as you can see, this is a turn-based battle. You have hit points, and then these flower points, which are like your magic. It's very much like a traditional RPG, but the game tries to change it up so you can have some action commands, like when you jump, you might need to press A. But as you're fighting, you figure out that Bowser's in possession of the magical Star Rod. The Star Rod gives its wielder all sorts of magic powers. It can grant their wishes, it can give them strength. So Bowser uses it, and he casts a spell on himself, and as Mario tries to jump and attack, he figures out that Bowser is impenetrable. So Bowser retaliates, he attacks him and defeats him. And so from there, it seems like Mario's helpless. He doesn't have any powers. Bowser zaps him out of the castle. He's fallen out of the sky, and it just seems like the end. As Mario wakes up, the 7 star spirits save him, and they beckon him to come meet them in person before they fade, so he can use their powers against Bowser and save the kingdom. The star spirits are scattered far and wide across the land, so you're going to find yourself going through all sorts of different environments, such as the desert, you go through a haunted forest to a mansion. This world is filled to the brim with character, and the people you meet along the way, all the characters, even the NPCs, they have terrific writing. You're going to be entertained the whole time. While this game has more traditional RPG elements such as battling, leveling up, getting new equipment, stuff like that, I really love the party system and how each party member has their own unique abilities that affect battles and also affect the environment around you. Paper Mario is a fantastic game, and while I may be partial to it because of my nostalgia, I do think the gameplay and the story really hold up today, so any Mario fan should try it. The next game on my list is a fan favorite. It's Super Mario Bros. 3, released in 1988. Now this game is the perfect example of taking something good and making it better. While this game didn't do a whole lot different gameplay-wise than the original, it made Mario what we know it as today. On the Super Nintendo, we had the Super Mario All-Stars Collection, which I loved. On this collection, Nintendo remade Mario 1, 2, 3, and the original 2 in Japan for the US audience, and these remakes were beautiful. I gotta be honest, I think I might prefer playing Super Mario Bros. 3 on Super Mario All-Stars because it's so gorgeous. Look at these graphics. I know my capture card's not the greatest, but it's just so vibrant and colorful, and the gameplay's well. But I've decided to capture the footage from the original for all the purists out there, and I completely understand. So as soon as you start, you're thrown into the action onto this world map, which is almost like a game board. You click on a level, and then you're thrown into typical Mario gameplay. The story of Super Mario Bros. 3 is that the world has been invaded again by Bowser and his Koopalings, his 7 children, and they conquer each of the 7 kingdoms by stealing its king's magical wand, and they use this wand to transform these kings into animals. The only people who can save the day, of course, are Mario and Luigi, and they are to get the wands back to transform the kings to their normal selves. Aside from the story, the gameplay is very similar to what we know. Although there are some new additions, such as after each level you get a card. If you get 3 matching cards, you get extra lives. Now, one thing that I didn't really care for about this game compared to the original is just how murky the colors seem, but I guess it's just a sacrifice that we had to make to get the detail that we got. Look at the shading, look at the grass that you can see. For 1988, I'm sure this game was just huge, a huge technical improvement. As you can see on the side of the screen, there's a weird bar that seems like it's loading all the time, and I think that's by design because it was hard to fit this game onto the cartridge. While there are a few new power-ups, my favorite has to be the one on the artwork for the game, and that's the Tanuki suit. The Tanuki suit allows Mario to fly, and he can spin around and hit enemies, and it's awesome. One thing I remember loving as a kid was the inclusion of these bonus stages where you can pick out chests with items in them or match these pictures together to get extra lives. This kind of broke up the action of the game and added a little more fun to it. When you get to each castle, you go in to see that the king has indeed been transformed, and you have to go find the Koopalings to get the magic wand back. Now, while there are castles in this game, the Koopalings hide on these giant airships, and these are really cool. As soon as Mario sets foot on the ship, the screen starts moving, which adds one layer of difficulty, and then you're also being shot at left and right by cannons, bullet bills, you name it. There's sometimes little groundhogs that throw wrenches at you and things. You constantly have to think on these ships, and then at the end, you get to the boss. If you defeat the boss, you get the magic wand, and you can restore the kings back to their normal selves. And sometimes get some help from Princess Peach in the form of a letter or an item. Super Mario Bros. 3 is a significant improvement over the first game. And while Nintendo continues to improve, to grow, to innovate, to make wonderful games, Super Mario Bros. 3 has to be my favorite 2D Mario and will remain that way for a very long time. Number 4 on my list is Super Mario 64, released in 1996, the year I was born, and this game, oh my gosh, it was incredible. It was the first 3D Mario game, and it was like the first successful 3D platformer. It was something Nintendo had to get right. They had to get the controls right, and they did it. This game starts as usual. Mario gets a letter from Princess Peach inviting him to the castle. And so what does he do? He goes, and quickly upon arrival, he realizes something's up. Bowser yells out that no one's home and he should go away. So Mario starts exploring. Well, in this game, the castle is like a hub world, and then each other world is actually in these magical portraits. And I thought that was so cool as a kid. And that was a way for the developers to fit everything they wanted into this game. They actually thought about doing it for Ocarina of Time, but they didn't do it in the end. The goal of Super Mario 64, of course, is to rescue Princess Peach, but to do that, you have to collect stars. In each level, you have these different tasks you have to complete, such as you might have to defeat a boss like we're doing here, or you might have to, do some crazy jumping mechanics. Who knows? But these stars are hidden everywhere, and you have to collect them in each level. Once you get enough, you can open these star doors, which lead to the place where Bowser resides. I love this hallway right here. Just wait for it. So Mario goes in, and you see this portrait of Peach, and it turns into Bowser, and the floor drops in. It was so cool when I was young. And then you land in this Bowser level, which is essentially like the castles in the old games. These levels typically consist of crazy obstacles, crazy platforming that you have to do. And I've got to say, a lot of people don't like the N64 controller, but I love the controls of this game. It just feels so natural. And then when you fight Bowser, you have to grab him by the tail, throw him, and hit these bombs to defeat him. And the first time you fight him, you only have to hit one bomb. When you defeat him, a magical key appears, and these keys unlock different areas of the castle, such as the basement or even the upstairs. So your main goal of the game is to explore this castle, collect stars, collect the castle keys, and make your way to save Princess Peach. One thing I like about this game is that each level is so unique and the tasks in each are so unique. Like this one, there's a star hidden inside that wall, and you have to shoot from the cannon to break the wall to find the star inside the wall. Who would have known to do that? I never figured that out as a kid, and when my brother showed me, I was like, oh my god, holy crap, that is so cool. I can't fathom how Nintendo constantly gets things right. This game was the first 3D Mario, and it was wonderful, and it will always probably be my favorite 3D game in the series. The last game on my list is Super Mario World, and this was released in 1991 on the Super Nintendo, one of my favorite consoles of all time. The story of this game is welcome. This is Dinosaur Land. In this strange land, we find that Princess Toadstool is missing again. Looks like Bowser's at it again. So it's the same old story. You've got your world map, kind of like in Super Mario Bros. 3. The gameplay's similar, but it's beautiful. Look at these graphics. You've got this parallax scrolling in the background. You've got these vibrant colors, but there's one key element that's very different than any other Mario game so far. It's Yoshi! They were able to add Yoshi. So Shigeru Miyamoto said that he always wanted Mario to be able to ride Yoshi, but this was the first time that they had the technology and the capabilities to do that in the game. While Yoshi serves as more protection for Mario as he gives him another hit, he also can eat enemies and shoot them out of his mouth. Sometimes he can get, like red Koopas. If he eats them, he'll shoot fireballs out, and it's very helpful. This game has some really unique levels, some unique environments. Here you can see that Mario's in this cave and you have to traverse as the screen is moving. There's these platforms going up and down that can crush you. There's bats flying around. They actually look like Moogles from the Final Fantasy series, but anyways, the level design in this game is fantastic per usual. One inclusion that I like in Super Mario World is the ghost houses, and they are exactly as they sound. They're haunted houses filled with ghosts, and you have to figure out your way out when you go in. Each of these houses has a puzzle that you have to solve. This one is if you take the POW block through the door and then you hit this block right here, a vine will come out that you can climb up to escape. But if you don't solve the riddle, you'll be stuck in an endless loop in the house and you'll die. And I always thought that was really neat and something unique to add to Mario, something darker. There are castles in this game. They're each owned by Bowser's children, again, like in Super Mario 3. And if you defeat them, all is well, you save the day, like normal, right? Wrong. Mario saves a Yoshi and blows up the castle. It's pretty awesome if you ask me. But Super Mario World is a unique game. The power-ups are unique. It's like, you see these enemies here throwing baseballs. Some of them are like quarterbacks. I mean, you've got Koopas flying around. You get a cape. It's so unique, and it's so fun, so whimsical. And it's honestly one of my favorite games to play with my friends. So it had to be my last game on the list. And I hope many of you play it as well. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed my list of my top 5 Mario games. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can get notifications every time I upload new videos. I want to know what your favorite Mario games are, so make sure you write them down in the comments and let me know what makes them your favorite Mario games. I realize that many of your favorite games I probably didn't include in this list because there are great Mario games that were off this list, but this is just my top 5, and a lot of this is my opinion and the nostalgia that comes with that. Super Mario Odyssey is a fantastic game. That's the footage you're seeing right now. Super Mario Galaxy games, I've heard they're great. I've just actually never sat down and played them. One game I really want to play in the series is Super Mario Sunshine, and when Nintendo remasters and re-releases these games, I look forward to buying that one first and trying it out for the first time. Once again, let me know what your favorite Mario games are and what kind of content you'd like to see me post in the future. I hope to see you guys next time. Take care.